On M&S tonight, we're at Oriel Park as European football returns to Dundalk for the first time in 19 years. Before we chat, let's first catch up on Dundalk's Europa League first round second leg tie against Grevenmacher of Luxembourg at Oriel Park last Thursday. Eamon Donoghue now reports.
European football was back at Oriel Park for the first time in 19 years, and after letting slip a 2-goal lead last week, carnival atmosphere was somewhat subdued to begin with. It didn't take long to ease any tensions. Kidazovic flashed his shot over early on. Dundalk set the agenda for most of this one, and a cross from the left from Ross Gaynor had the visitors on the back foot. The throw-in which resulted from that clearance led to Tiernan Mulvaney finding Kidazovic in the area. He was fouled, resulting in a 5th-minute penalty. Ben tucked away the spot kick, making it 4-3 on aggregate. Dundalk doubled their advantage 14 minutes later. Ben and Kidazovic were tormenting the Grevenmacher defence and combined once again for Kidazovic to score. With any nerves now settled, Dundalk really went at their opponents as they looked to kill the tie off before half-time. A move beginning and ending with Neil Fenn almost brought a third. Grevenmacher were able to overturn a 2-goal deficit last week, but they were not to be taken lightly. Adrian Bauer clipped the ball over the advancing Matt Gregg. Gary Breen was on hand to clear the danger. Ben was proving near impossible for the visitors to handle. He went in search of another. Mark Fleming saved, not pretty, but effective. Now, Stephen Maher has plenty of European experience from St Patrick's Athletics Odyssey last season. This move ended with a penalty claim. The referee not interested in his protests. A glimmer of hope for the visitors came late on when they pulled one back. Frontman Bauer raided forward. He fed Christian Muller and he beat Matt Gregg at his near post with that neat finish. 2 goals still needed for them to progress, and when they may have been urged on, that was as close as they came. 2-1 on the night, 5-4 on aggregate to Dundalk, and they progressed past the first round in Europe for the first time since 1981.
Yeah, Tony, when you look at the Europa League ties now, Levski Sofia, Maritimo, and this side from Tel Aviv, Beni Yehuda, it's not easy for any of the Electricity League teams there, I suppose.
Difficult sides, Colin, but I think, you know, from their perspective, and particularly from Dundalk's perspective, they weren't in that competition at the start of the season. The win and progressing through the competition, I think it gives them 90,000 to play with in the July transfer window, August transfer window, where they can sign players. So, I mean, they can push on from there and use those finances to help them try and go for a European spot this year, which is how they, you know, they were starting their stall out at the start of the season.
Dundalk and Oriel Park warmed up for Europe in a loud derby against good friends Drogheda United. Visitors taking the lead when ex-Dundalk trialist John Flood fired past Matt Gregg. But the home side drew level midway through the first half, and sometimes in derby games it's the local lads that can make the difference. First, Stephen McDonald headed past Paul Murphy. Before 3 minutes from the interval, Faz Kidazovic's superb through ball found Tiernan Mulvaney. He scored to win it for the home side. It finished in a clash between the country's 2 youngest managers. Dundalk halted their run of 3 straight defeats.
Welcome back once again to M&S. Now, while the Louth Gaelic footballers were battling it out for a first Leinster title in over 50 years at Croke Park, Dundalk were also in Dublin to face Shamrock Rovers at Tallaght Stadium. A win over an injury-hit Dundalk would see Michael O'Neill's Rovers leapfrog above St Pat's to the top of the table. Rovers fans hopeful. Eamon Donoghue.
Dundalk had little to fear from Rovers, having won here earlier in the season, saying nothing for Thursday night's performance. Stephen Maher drew a free kick as the visitors were presented with an early chance. Ross Gaynor unlucky not to give his side the lead. Rovers eventually clearing. With the home side looking to regain top spot from St Pat's, they began to press on. Paddy Kavanagh's cross dealt with by Hatswell and Maher in the short term. We don't see Craig Sivas do this too often. Matt Gregg showing he's more than capable of filling Peter Cherry's boots. That wouldn't be Gregg's last involvement either. Gary Twigg is still looking for full fitness after missing out on pre-season. And on another day, he may have made more of that chance. It was looking like becoming an individual duel between keeper and striker. And Twigg raced away with only goals on his mind. Gregg, though, stood firm as another chance went a begging. The Rovers were firmly on top by now. Tom Miller got that headed clearance all wrong, presenting Kavanagh with a chance to dart at the Dundalk defence. And when Twigg finally did beat Gregg, Wayne Hatswell came to the rescue. Constant Rovers pressure had to tell eventually, and they went direct from a Stephen Rice throw-in. Ball eventually fell to Chambers, and he trashed home the opener. Gregg finally beaten. A goal to lift the Tallaght supporters, and Rovers pressed on. Tom Miller cleared at the expense of a corner. The resulting delivery from Kavanagh caused confusion. Price and Gregg went for the ball, eventually credited as an own goal, but it mattered little. 2-0 to Rovers. He wasn't happy, and within 70 seconds of that goal, Rovers made it 3-0. Dundalk caught napping on the restart. Alan Cawley gifting possession away. Tommy Stewart fed Twigg. And then slotted past Gregg. It looked all but up for Dundalk at this point. And they may well have made it 4-0 before the break. Gregg denied Dan Murray's header. Rovers showed no signs of letting up after the restart. Gregg made a fairly routine save from Thomas Stewart's header. Ian Foster would later bemoan Dundalk's congested fixture schedule, and they certainly looked heavy-legged as Chris Turner sent James Chambers away. He smashed the ball home to make it 4. Gregg, though, perhaps should have done more at his near post. Dundalk's best chance arguably came from a set piece. Gaynor's delivery, Hatswell's header not enough to beat Alan Manus. Rovers meanwhile wanted a fifth. Thomas Stewart's header, however, wasn't enough to provide it. It just wasn't Dundalk's afternoon, and sometimes when your luck's out you get the feeling there's little you can do to change it. Steve Maher scored here in March. However, this effort drew jeers from the Tallaght faithful. 4-0 the final score. Rovers' dominance helped no doubt by a lacklustre Dundalk. Europe now beckons for both sides on Thursday.
Our focus is to win games. You know, we've won 3 on the bounce now since the break, and we want to maintain that momentum, the confidence that's in the side, the momentum that's in the side, and we want to carry that forward.
We've played 3 games in 6 days, a local derby, a second leg of a European tie, and then the league leaders away from home. You know, there's a World Cup going on at the moment, and to get to the final of the World Cup, you get 6 games in 6 weeks. This isn't tournament football. We play 10 games in a month. Ridiculous. The players can't do it, shouldn't be asked to do it, and unfortunately for us you get performances like that because we haven't got the squad to rotate.